What adds luxury to a house? Is it the super high ceilings, the intricate plasterworks, or the feature of natural stone and brass? Well, those sound expensive because they are. To make a ceiling like this, it will not only cost a few $100,000, but may cost a few $1 million. But today's topic, we are discussing if you are renovating, what are some of the luxury touches you can bring into your house, but without breaking the bank. I'm talking only a few $100s or less if possible. What things you can do that will bring that touch of luxury? So in this video, I'll be discussing a few items that I've done and I'll use them as an example where it can be considered a luxury item because of its super handiness. We use it so frequently that it is something that becomes part of our life, or it is luxury as in the state of mind. We perceive it as luxurious. So let's have a look at some of these items. First, let's get the easy things out of the way. Mirrors. Yes, they are an essential part of every household these days, but mirror can be added to add a touch of luxury. Now, if you use it as a decoration item, yes, it's decoration, so it's adding to the better feel of the house. But I'm specifically talking about bathrooms. If you're renovating your bathrooms, go for the biggest mirror that can suitably be fitted in that space. Point in case, this particular bathroom we are trying to hit a specific design brief, which is why the borders are of a particular color and design, but the size is very specifically measured and the glass has been custom cut to fit like that. So the width here is about the same as the width of the vanity itself, and the height as much we could go up without ruining the symmetry. On the other one, we did similarly, went as close to the ceiling as possible. Go to the ceiling, why not? Above a certain height, the mirror then becomes purely a aesthetic thing. It doesn't really serve a purpose because you will not be using it for reflection for functional purpose, but rather it just adds to the ambience, so to speak. It brings in more space or makes things look bigger. And finally, in the small bathroom. So this here is a mirror, just plain mirror, nothing special about it, except it was custom cut to fit that space between the tile and the wall and the roof. And we maximized the amount of area we can cover with the mirror. If we had gone with the one size smaller mirror, the price difference would have been about $50 or something like $50-$60, something like that. And to go one size bigger and have it cut to size, and this is the effect we have. If I go closer, obviously the higher part of the mirror is of not much use, but the overall effect it brings to the bathroom is quite pronounced. Next viewpoint is to do with the electrician. Now, this is more during the time when the walls are taken out, you're renovating and you're putting in a new kitchen or something like that. Putting in a new power plug may cost you anywhere between $80 to $150 depending. In the kitchen these days, make sure to have as many power points as it is practical. For example, the kitchen that we did recently, on the benchtop alone, there is at least 5 power points. And I've chosen a light grayish color to hide within the dark stone background. So they're not as apparently visible, but they're there and they're very convenient where it is needed. Plus, on top of that, obviously, you need to make sure that you have sufficient number of power plugs for your refrigerators and your appliances and any other thing that you have in your kitchen which will be permanently placed, like microwave oven. You know it's going to be in a particular place and it's going to be there forever, so you need a power point. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about excluding those, like things where you may want to plug in a blender or toaster or something like that. Put more number of power plugs in. It's not exactly what we consider luxury, as in, molded with velvet or something like that, but it is purely functional, and over the years it will pay its dividends. Similarly, next thing is to do with light points as well. So light features add interest to a particular space. Now, adding light points again will cost with an electrician, say about $150-ish just to do the wiring. But you'd have to buy the light feature yourself. And online these days, you can buy good-looking pendants and things like that for a few $100s. And if you really want to, splash out and buy something more expensive, that's a different story. Sky's the limit. There are very expensive pieces out there. But what I'm saying is that for a few $100s, you can add a number of light features, and they do add a lot of interest, a bit of color, character to your house, and they add to the luxurious feel of the house. A cheap house does not have these sort of interesting items. So light features may not necessarily cost a lot, but it will appreciate the perceived value of the house. So next thing I want to talk about is crown moldings, or here in Australia we call it cornices. If a particular wall was knocked down, or you're putting up a new wall, or doing the plaster wall new, you might need to put on new cornices. Now generally they have those 90 mil rounded cornices. That's the cheapest, and that's why builders, they just put those on everywhere, and that is the look of the cheap house, right? Now here's the thing, those are sold per linear meter about $6 odd. Now these ones that we have put on, the design, my daughter actually chose it, so they are about $8.50. So for the full house you will need about few hundred meters of the cornices. So let's say if you need 200 meters, so you're paying $2.50 extra, that's $500 extra of the cornices. Plus the labor cost may be a little bit more because they have to match the pattern. So about $500 extra for custom looking cornice. It adds a lot of character to your house. So if you go to those old manor houses, or like palace-like places, you will see these feature in the corner of the wall, and they go to more extravagant lengths, and they do the arches and the keystones and everything. But what we're doing is bringing some of those elements into our house. It's not bank-breakingly more expensive, but that is something you can consider. Ring up your local supplier, see how much it's going to cost you extra. Perhaps it might not be as much as you think. Next thing is something of pure luxury, like properly spoiling ourselves, right? That is to do with AC vents in bathrooms. That's right. So when we were doing the ducted aircon, I asked the installer, how much extra would it be if we want outlets in all of the bathrooms? The quote came at about $280 for 3 bathrooms. That includes ducting and the outlets. Now, that was the price then because they were already gonna do the ducting. They hadn't done it, so they were gonna just do it at the same time. If we ring up now and ask the installer to get into the roof cavity space and do it all over, they're probably going to charge double. But the thing is here that when we wake up in the morning, right, in a cold winter morning and go to the bathroom, the whole house is warm. Normally it used to be like, we have the heater on in the bedrooms and then we go into the bathroom and it's freezing. That's past. I understand that in the long run, to be heating additional 3 bathrooms when, overnight no one's going to be using it, it's a little bit wasteful. I understand that, but it is one of those things, right? A matter of pure luxury. It didn't cost a lot to put it in, and another thing is that if you are going to renovate to sell, skip it, because potential buyer is not going to look at it. It's going to bring you no value to your house. Do it only if you're going to live in this house long term. In winter, it will heat up the bathrooms, especially if you're going for a shower or something like that. It's very nice and comfy. And during summer, it's the opposite. It'll cool it off. So when your whole house is nice and cool, you go into the bathroom, it's cool there as well. What do you know? Next thing I want to talk about is smart locks. Now this I would say with a pinch of salt. The smart things in general are still evolving. The technology is not matured yet, they're new. So we still have a bit of way to go. Plus also, if you are developing a new property or you're renovating to sell, skip this. This is not gonna do you much good. Only if you're gonna be enjoying the house yourself in long term, that's where it becomes an item of luxury. Now, how so? You see, so these are the keys that I carry in my pocket. I've been doing so for decades, right? There is nothing here that I can take out. I need all of these. But let's say if I'm just going to the front yard to check the letter or, just going out for a walk, I don't need to carry the keys. Going in and out of the front door now is super easy. Just tap the finger, it reads the fingerprint, opens up. That's it. I can tell the kids the combination or have their fingerprint registered as well. They can come in as so. There is that convenience and peace of mind as well. Plus it has become a habit, like to not need to put a key into a hole and twist it and all that sort of action. You just come to the door, press your thumb against a reader and the door opens. This is so simplified a move that I don't want to go back to turning a key ever again. So the part where I was saying that the technology is not matured is where sometimes I attempted to open the lock from my phone, it didn't happen, it threw an error. Yes, there are troubleshooting and all that, but when was the last time we needed to troubleshoot a lock that opens with a key, right? Hence me saying that the smart technology is not fully matured yet. They still have some way to go to become completely robust. Still, it gives that value where it's simplified life and definitely a touch of luxury for sure. Cost, a average good lock for the front door would cost around 150 to 250, something like that. The smart lock that we got is about $400. So a little bit extra, a few $100s, definitely worth it, I'd say. However, it's not for everyone, so as I said, with a pinch of salt. So as far as renovations go, there are lots of its and bits of tips that I can share with you over the years I've learned myself. As far as luxury goes, it's often a personal thing. Yes, there are luxuries like, adding a swimming pool, for example. That's a luxury, but it's not cheap. A swimming pool will cost as much as a swimming pool costs, right? Or other things like if you want a fantastic kitchen with natural stone and all that, you have to pay for those things. But let's say appliances. For me, having 2 microwaves in the kitchen is what I consider luxury. It's not for everyone, right? But it's luxury to me, so I have it. So as far as state of mind goes, as in the meaning of luxury, there are many more things that you can add to your household that will add to convenience in a manner that becomes a luxury, There are many examples to share. So these were some of the bits that you might want to consider when actually renovating. And these things don't necessarily break the bank. So that's it for today, and I hope to see you in the next video Also, the full review of that smart lock I was talking about will be done in the other channel, my main channel, Salesberg. So tune into there to check that out. I will see you in the next video of Property Technical. Until then, you take care of yourself.